Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another night of iRacing action right here on the National Racing Network, where tonight the stars and cars of the TNT Shock Series coming to you from Homestead-Miami Speedway, but we're doing it a little different this time. We're going Roval racing, giving you the full Indy Pro 2000 experience here as we kick off the broadcast as well. Qualifying, just getting ready to get going. My name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with us here this evening. Joined in the booth by the Bizzler, Mr. Patrick Byrne. And I'll tell you what, Patrick, this is one of those oddball weeks for the TNT Shock Series. Not only are they running a road course, which they don't normally do, but they're running one of the least used Roval layouts on the iRacing platform, and that's really saying something because there's a lot of them that get no use whatsoever. It's almost like you have to put in a bunch of practice for a track that you're going to run once every 3 or 4 years, and some guys just aren't going to do it.
Yeah, and this Roval itself is very interesting. I think it was last used in a top-level professional sense in IMSA way back, I want to say 2014 or 2015, and they were having troubles racing here, not so much because of the crowd, not so much about getting cars out there, because of the rain. This place is one giant bowl, and anytime it rained, the whole infield section was just flooded. Thankfully, no rain yet on iRacing, so that will not be an issue tonight.
It might be one of the first places we have to play with the rain, though, because this place will be an absolute mess when rain does come to the iRacing platform. Qualifications are underway. We're following along the AJ Camargo, sort of. Should we shoot the entire race? Hey, there he goes, right in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. Should we shoot the entire race like this, Patrick, or should we give people the full visual effect? I mean, we got a great shot of a couple of palm trees here, but not really the race cars.
Why don't we say every super chat buys 1 minute of actual cams pointed at race cars?
Oh, that's so disturbing. No, let's see. Let's pick up our normal camera operations here. We got the wide shot on the AJ Camargo Zach Nuremberger sliding off the racetrack. Oh, nice job by Camargo, but man, that's going to hurt the lap time. The other big one, Patrick, is tonight is a format for the Shock Series. This is something that we have never done before. Let's see. I want to make sure I get the information right here. They're bringing the heat tonight. 10-minute open qualifying. Top 8 will invert in a 13-car field. There's not a whole lot of inversion going on here, but we're then going to run a 15-minute sprint race followed by a 25-minute feature race that will also feature a top 8 invert. So you finish top 8 in the sprint race, you're going to be inverted and run a 25-minute feature. I like the concept. It chops 10 minutes of the racing time off, and quite frankly gives a lot of incentive for people to try and do a whole lot of passing.
Yeah, you're going to have to get stuff done. It's going to be more of a sprint race than ever, and not only do you have to win one race tonight, you got to try and win 2 of them.
That's a great point. It's not as simple as, oh, I'm just going to do the thing and, whatever. You're not going to sit around for 45 minutes and hope for the best as Alex Teeter goes to the top of the I'm kind of looking forward to the format, but quite frankly, I think if the format works, it could be really good for the ovals too. It's one of those things, sort of like what we do with the Fastmaster series, where we run these 6-minute heats and invert everybody. It encourages passing, but by minimizing the invert, it encourages you finishing at the front.
Are you saying I need to fix my Fastmaster series?
No. That is supposed to be a dumpster fire. Pick up Nikisa Yoshikawa here very quickly before we let Bizzle talk again. He is now the quick timer, 1:17.265.
I wish we had an option to invert everyone except the pole sitter. So for qualifying, it gives incentive to go out there and try and go and grab the pole.
That would be cool. To be able to like set up a specific invert, even with something like the passing points system or something along those lines, that can be kind of fun as well. Pick up off the corner here. James Watson, Kylo Ciacelli may have made contact in that final corner. Yoshikawa is still going to be quick timer by 0.4 of a second over the AJ Camargo. Jason Miller will be quick, followed by Kylo Ciacelli and Brett Shire. Shire 1.5 seconds off the pace of Yoshikawa. Looking at the top 8 and how spread out, I think this is part of the reason they went to that format change, is the fact that the field can end up really spread out. And with only 15 minutes and then 25 minutes, there's not a ton of time for that to actually happen.
Yeah, not only that, especially with the invert, it's going to give some of these guys who aren't necessarily as fast as a guy like Nagisa Yoshikawa to go out there, start up front, and really kind of slow these fast guys down and make it a real battle for the win, instead of having Holsitter just run away with it because he's 0.4 faster than the rest of the field.
As it stands right now, Zach Nurenberger will be your pole sitter. Now let's follow along here with Yoshikawa. They're going to get the green flag about here down the front straightaway. What's going to be interesting is the run down to turn 1. The way that this place kind of dives off and then you get to the big first corner, there's no real opportunity for any of the quick guys to make up spots. You're immediately going to see like back up. It's almost like you have to find your spots, and this is going to be the first one where we're really going to see a chance to kind of make that pass and make up a bunch of spots.
Yeah, and I definitely do think you're going to see some dive bombs tonight. With the pressure turned up and you're putting some of the slow guys at the front and the fast guys at the back, they are going to be antsy to get up front where they can run away with this thing. So, yeah, I think we'll see a couple dive bombs here.
Going to see another one there into the hairpin, which spits you out onto the back straightaway of the oval. These guys, the way they take it, you don't actually ever really transition. You kind of just cut the edge, and then you get up onto the bank. Same thing coming off the bank. Through another little bit of twisty bits to the final chicane, and then you're right back onto the front straightaway again. There's only kind of 2 or 3 great passing opportunities here at Homestead-Miami on the Roval anyway. And that's going to make things really difficult for some of these good cars.
I don't think so, because those straightaways are so long on the oval portion that I think it's going to be a real opportunity here to get a huge run and get the pass complete before you hit the tire barrier.
As we talk about it, we see Yoshikawa getting off the racetrack as we're down to 2 minutes and 7 seconds. Zach Nurenberger has improved the position and thus hurt himself in the order. He's up to 7. Well, there you go. Now he's back to 8th. James Watson currently scheduled to start outside of row number 1. Row 2 going to be Wes Shire and Jason Miller. Row 3 is going to have Kylo Ciacelli and AJ Camargo, Brian Labarge, and Nagisa Yoshikawa on the front row. As it stands right now, Yoshikawa the only car into the 1 minute 16s. Everybody else in the 117s, 118s or worse. Jason Owens, currently the slowest qualified car at 1 minute 19.122. Where it really is aggravating is to a guy like Simon Fell, because not only is he not going to start at the front, but he's going to start right exactly where he qualified. Which means instead of starting, literally the difference between starting on pole and starting 9th or 10th is just a couple of tenths at this point. Jason Owens only has 51 thousandths on Zach Nurenberger, and we're down to 55 seconds left in qualifying. Let's pick up, let's see, Ben Carswell possibly out on the racetrack. There's Ben. If he can get the lap in and have it score, he could possibly bump Jason Owens back to the 9th position. You never root against somebody, especially that's going to qualify 8th in a 14-car field. But in this case, you're kind of rooting for a guy to qualify 9th in a 14-car field. You want to be able to run.
Well, I thought we were only inverting 8 cars, so you'd want to start 8th, because 8th will make you the pole sitter.
8th will make you the pole sitter. 9th means you start 9th. Ben Carswell up to 11th. Qualifications are over. It is time to go racing, and unfortunately for Zach Nurenberger, he will be the first car on the outside looking in as we get ready to roll here. It will be a, looks like 12 lap or 15-minute race. Let's pick up. There's a good look at our starting grid. Let's take a look at these and show you who everybody is and where they will be starting. And, oh, Bizzle, we are going to have a show here, bud. Nagisa Yoshikawa, well, you see, this is giving me the results from qualifying, so that one's not going to work either. Our graphics software doesn't work with the invert. It gives us the qualifying results. We'll have to fix that. Row number 1 for
new every day.
Yeah, it's something I never thought about, the invert possibility, I guess, when building these. But Jason Owens and Jason Miller are on the front row. You can see them there. The Extra Life machine for Owens. The PPG paints colors on the side of the number 3 of Jason Miller. Row number 2 will have Team Watson Racing's James Watson. He will be lined up alongside of AJ Camargo. Row number 3 will have Kylo Ciacelli lining up alongside Brian Lavarge. Ciacelli, the last car I think we're waiting here on the grid for. Row number 4 will have Wes Shire and Nagisa Yoshikawa. Now we get to the cars that are outside the invert. Row 5 will have Zach Nurenberger lining up alongside Simon Fell. Row number 6, Ben Carswell and Alex Teeter. And on row number 7, let's pick them up, get a good look at them. Carter Lundy has decided he does not want to qualify this evening. That car will be coming from the back. It looks like we are getting him ready to roll off the starting grid. This place here. In fact, 3 of them are in the air. One right there in kind of the turn 1 area, the other one all the way out at the other end of the racetrack, and then we have I'll tell you what, Patrick, so this is the first time on air since iRacing latest rendering of what racing in the rain will look like. And my God, did it look spectacular, but I kind of worry about what the computer specs are going to be to make it look that good.
Yeah, I'm thinking an upgrade is due here in the near future for me.
Yeah, I think we have 2 computers here that are going to need pretty significant upgrades, and neither one of them is that old, quite frankly. Let's see. Stephen C. Thompson's checking in the comments here. Let's get this fired up here. Make sure we got software for these, because this comment is too funny not to get up. Steven's checking in saying prize and missed points opportunity. Yeah, unfortunately, Steven, this is probably not one you wanted to skip, that's for sure. I would imagine you wanted to out of the car here this evening. Field's still pacing around slowly here. There's the second car. Off the final corner, they're going to pack up. Oh, man. Owens tried to go Colton Hurd on the start of this one, and he may have pulled it off. Green flags in the air. We're underway. Jason Miller, James Watson going to give chase to turn 1. Big dive from Kylo Ciacelli. West Shire, Nagisa Yoshikawa trying to make the move as well. Ciacelli wants to have a look. Trying to get inside of Jason Miller. Now he's going to look to the outside. Man, they're stacked up 2 and 3 wide, a little bit deeper in the pack as well. Brian Labarge doing his best to hold off Yoshikawa and Shire. Oh, one car going around. That's going to be Zach Nurenberger. Ciacelli tries to get outside. Almost a little bit of a chop. Miller going to hold the inside onto the back straightaway for the first time. Jason Owens leading by almost 1 second as Ciacelli able to clear. Kind of what we expected here out of lap 1, Patrick. A lot of craziness at the initial start. Now Ciacelli going to make the dive on Owens to turn 1.
He gets the spot.
Down to 13 minutes left on the clock here. Seeing the laps have already ticked down from 12 to 11 possible laps completed. That number is going to fluctuate a little bit as we count back from the time. Eventually it's going to settle out and we'll see how many laps we have to go through. Check in on the battle back here a little bit. Nagisa Yoshikawa holding off Carter Lundy. This is the fight for 6 and 7. Oh, and Jason Owens spins off of the final corner. That car comes to a stop down on the inside as Ciacelli goes fastest lap. Owens is going to go all the way to the tail of the field.
Oh, and spinning.
Jason Miller spins off. He's going to collect James Watson in that mess. Both of those cars going to try to get rolling. Kylo Ciacelli now checking out, and through the benefit of some attrition, Yoshikawa and Lundy are now 2nd and 3rd.
Yeah, we're playing task points games. I think Carter Lundy's your leader right now.
Yes, if we are going by passing points, actually, I would say we could bring up the official ones from the Chili Bowl, but those don't work. They only go to 12 people. Let's see. Looking at, and by the way, we are not actually using passing points here, but Carter Lundy. Everything's based off of if you start on the pole and you win the race, you're going to earn 100 points. Carter Lundy, by starting 14th and running 3rd, picking up 114.4 points, but it really doesn't matter. I'll tell you what though, Patrick, this could be kind of fun to have for calculating like a hard charger standings as well, because it's going to penalize you. If you don't well, you know, you go out early in the race. For example, Jason Owens started 12th, only going to be good for 69 points.
Nice.
Let's slide up the field a little bit here and pick up Carter Lundy. He is really working hard to get past Nagisa Yoshikawa here. The other thing we're going to have to really keep an eye on is the invert. Right now, that position belongs to Alex Teeter. And he has about a 7/10 of a second, 8/10 of a second gap over Simon Bell. This is the battle for the invert. Lundy goes fastest lap, 1 minute 17.348, just a tick over 100 miles per hour on the lap average. Now there are points on offer here for both the sprint race and the feature race, so you want to get yourself up to the front of the field here, but if you're Alex Teeter, are you more concerned with keeping Simon than you are catching West Shire?
I would think so, especially since we're inverting 8 again. 8th is kind of the hot seat to be in.
Yeah, and with 8 laps remaining in this race, Jason Miller is going to be closing in on Teeter. And you really can't, you have to sort of behave yourself a little bit here, because you also have to worry, it's not just Jason Miller. Simon Bell is not slow. James Watson is not slow. Those guys can also make up some ground positions. So it's going to be interesting to watch how this battle shapes out over the next 8 laps.
Yeah, it's kind of a thinking now, like, do you want to get up as far as you can in the field, or do you want to sit back there, 6th, 7th, 8th position, so you can start up front for the next one? But as we've seen here, it doesn't matter so much because the field's going to sort itself out relatively quickly.
Watson inside of Simon fell and turned. Trying to remember, there may be a warm-up session in between. I don't remember, but it was kind of a spotlight to give the drivers a chance to get up and make a break. They did extend practice out to 90 minutes, plus the 10 minutes of qualifying. If you ran that whole thing, you're talking about being in the sim rig for almost 2 hours by the time we get to the start of that 25-minute feature.
There is no warm-up. I'm looking at the preview screenshot from when you build the session, and there is no warm-up for this one.
Well, there you go. Wow, Carter Lundy, great lap.
One big thing we're going to have to watch is some of these drivers who might not be used to heat racing and iRacing, is it only gives you a minute to hop in that feature, not the usual 2 minutes that these drivers may be used to. So if some of these drivers are used to, when that green light turns on, maybe running to go grab a drink from the fridge or go and hit the head before they get into the sim rig, you're going to have only half the time to do that. You might not even have time to get out of your chair.
Yeah, it's not a lot of time, that's for sure. We'll see how all that develops as well. But man, I'm impressed here. Rick Cleary checking in the comments a couple of minutes ago anyway. Thank you, Rick, for the kind words here. Saying fantastic work on the drone shots. We appreciate that. Carter Lundy sitting about 1.5, maybe 1.6. Well, now down to 1.4 seconds back. If there's a guy that's going to catch Kylo Ciacelli here, I think it might be Carter Lundy. This kid is just an absolute phenom.
He's fast enough that he got wrecked out by Tony Kanaan about an hour and a half ago.
That's right.
Tony Kanaan put up a session. They were talking about no bullcrap all during the preview to the race. Going into turn 1, Tony Kanaan absolutely hit maneuvers Carter Lundy. 6-degree flag drops. It was the most beautiful thing I have ever seen.
Yeah, Tony taking out the frustrations of American Airlines on Carter Lundy, it looks like. If you have not followed that drama on Twitter, it's worth it. Just look for TK on Twitter. He's not a happy man. However, In his tweet, he mentioned 7 million miles he's flown with American Airlines, 400,000 in the last year. That sounds terrible to spend 400,000 miles on any airplane in a calendar.
Yeah. Unless you're flying first class, but that's a lot of flying to be flying first class every single time.
Well, no, he
Even
is.
for a guy like Tony Kanaan.
Well, yeah, TK was a concierge member with American Airlines. Basically, you hit a status that's like invite only. You fly so many miles with them, like they don't even have like requirements anymore. It's just like you're really important to us because if you fly a lot, that means you're spending a lot of money. And they just no status, no nothing. I'm guessing when trying to book a flight back here, he was running Brazilian stock cars this weekend. Obviously wanting to get home to wife Lauren and the kids there in Indianapolis. I couldn't imagine having to do that. Fly to Brazil every couple of weekends. I'll tell you who is flying though, Carter Lundy. He is right up underneath the rear attenuator of Kylo Ciacelli with what looks to be 4 laps to go. 3 minutes, 36 seconds left on the clock. I believe that's Jason Owens, who is standing still on the inside of the race course.
I believe doing the Fast Masters, where you just sit there and wait for everything to happen around you.
Yes. Yeah, if you wreck your car in Fast Masters, you just have to leave it parked wherever it is.
A rule that we have silently abandoned. The regulars in the series know the rule, but we don't advertise that rule anymore. So any random person that joins the session is just utterly confused why there's 6 chicanes down the backstretch. It's kind of comical.
That is correct. And somebody infallibly goes into it as well. Wow, big move by Lundy. He's going to look inside, but on the switchback here, Ciacelli going to have the preferred position. Lundy taking it way deep as they get onto the back straightaway. So what do we have here, Patrick? We have the front straight, the middle inner straight, the middle outer straight, and the back straight.
A lot of very long straightaways, each of them about a half-mile long.
What a pass by Carter Lundy heading into the chicane. But now Ciacelli is going to have the draft at his disposal. And Ciacelli able to cross over and get the move done down there into turn number 1. Right back to the outside. Ciacelli gives him a little squeeze. This is 2 guys that are absolutely not going to give an inch of these cars either.
No, these are 2 guys that are very experienced with this car. And you can see right there, not an inch given by Kylo Ciacelli. Carter Lundy almost turning in there. There's contact.
Around. I don't know if there was contact or not, but Ciacelli went around. He's going to fall back to the 4th position.
I will say, if there was contact, that's fair play by Carter. Ciacelli was not giving him any room down the straightaway. Carter didn't give him any room in the corner. That's fair play in my book.
Let's take a look. Let's see. Let's go overhead here and take a look. See if there was any contact.
No contact.
No, I don't
just
think
looks
there
like
was.
Ciacelli lost it.
Unless it was netcode, though. That's the only question.
Kylo has had a lot of netcode issues during the season, so it is something that could be very possible.
White flag is out, 1 lap to go for your race leader, Carter Lundy. Remember, this is only the heat race. 25 more minutes of racing coming up here for the TNT Shock Series. Sim Racing Center number 12. Yeah, well, here we go. Stephen C. Thompson giving us a little bit of insight. We'll show you that one here in just a moment. As Lundy out onto the front straightaway. Don't celebrate too early, Max. Checkered flag in the air. And Carter Lundy picks up the win in tonight's sprint race for the TNT Shock Series as Yoshikawa locks him up heading to turn number 1. Brian Labarge going to be third. Stephen C. Thompson saying the rear gets really loose in that hairpin because it's so low speed. A lot of drivers have self-spun there. Appreciate the insight. You'd be better than Bizzle.
What is that supposed to mean?
And in the surprise of the night thus far, Ben Carswell will be your TNT Shock Series invert leader after tonight's sprint race. As we'll go back full real world feel. We'll call it the real field camera looks here. It's only going to cover about 85% of the track, and well, yeah, there you go. There's an example of it. It'll miss some corners as well. So Tommy Cook going to finish the sprint race 1 lap down. Jason Owens finishing it 2 laps down. Zach Nernberger will finish this one 10 laps behind the race leaders. But now, oh yeah, I am seeing a warm-up here now. 4 minutes and 50 seconds worth of warm-up time here for the cars and stars of the TNT Shock Series. So let's do this. Let's get a commercial break out of the way here, and we will be back in just a moment. You are watching the TNT Shock Series right here on the National Racing Network.
I don't know why you're so sad. You've got a roof over your head.
Bro, you gotta stop with that depression stuff. That's a white people thing.
Escúchame, en esta casa los hombres no lloran.
You alright?
It just feels like it's coming from everywhere.
Do you want to talk about it?
Thanks for hearing me out, bro. Appreciate it.
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad.
Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
Welcome back, everybody, to Homestead-Miami Speedway. I'll tell you what, Bizzle, that commercial almost looked like Australia there this weekend.
Yeah, I was gonna say you definitely should not be texting and driving, because we saw what happens when a field of 22 of the world's greatest drivers decide they want to go texting and driving during a race, and it really amazes me that the NASCAR race this weekend was the cleanest race all for the whole weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the worst part, is they weren't texting and driving. They just, God, they look like amateurs. So we're back to our real-world cameras here, following along with Brian Labarge. We'll let you see if you can pick out which car is Mr. Labarge. Obviously, he's the only one in the shot, but what the color scheme on that car is. God, these cameras are so bad. All right, everybody, let us know in the comments what you think of the show. Hopefully you're enjoying it. We've got more coming up this week. Tomorrow night, the Bizzle Bowl 200 from Bristol Motor Speedway for the Sim Racers Club. And what will the prize be, Bizzle?
What are we up to? Like $50 worth of instant noodles?
Yes, I think we're up to $50 worth of instant ramen.
If a driver who is from the United States of America wins the race, that is, what, 480 individual packets of ramen noodles?
I believe it is, yes. It is just a silly, silly amount of ramen noodles that will be delivered to somebody's house. Courtesy of our own Patrick Byrne. Yeah, I'm looking
It's going to be funny.
Guys are going to be working to finish second just so they don't have to get the shipment of ramen. Jason Owens going quick time in the practice session. However, it's a bit of a misnomer because Owens is the only car that has set a lap time in the session. And it looks like, oh, there we go. Brian Labarge setting a lap at 1 minute 20.4. So he will not beat Jason Owens' quick time here in the very short warm-up for tonight's feature event. I'll tell you what, though, Carter Lundy going to roll off of this grid in the 8th position, Patrick, and I am interested to see if we see more of what we saw last time. This race, I think, could be a fair bit different because the front row for this one will be Ben Carswell and James Watson, two guys that, quite frankly, could get it done at the front. Row number 2, Wes Shire and AJ Camargo. Again, we're looking at a couple of guys that realistically could keep that car on the racetrack and out front. Row 3, Kylo Ciacelli and Brian Labarge. Labarge was quick in qualifying. Ciacelli led a good portion of that sprint race. Then row number 4, Nagisa Yoshikawa and Carter Lundy. Lundy's going to have to do it again, this time from not as far back in the field. Row 5 will have Alex Teeter and Simon Fell. Row number 6, Jason Miller and Tommy Cook. And on row number 7, it will be Jason Owens and Zach Nernberger. Watson a tick slow to get off the line here. I don't think anybody made contact.
Yeah, all of these cars at the front are cars that are usually at the front. They just had a bit of bad luck during the first heat, so it's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be almost just like a regular race now.
Yeah, I think the key word that you used there was a bit of bad luck. It wasn't like you wrecked the car, you junked it. Just something happened, and you know we saw Wes Shire had a spin. James Watson got collected in an incident. That's not the same as the car was slow and you didn't run well. I really think we could see any of these top 8 parking in victory lane. If you are interested in driving in the Fast Masters Series, that will be coming up next. Those ones we don't broadcast because, quite frankly, they're too much fun to drive in. Tonight, it will be Star Mazda's, the Legacy Star Mazda rotary car from Kansas Speedway. I will be driving if it is on the oval. If it's on the Roval, there is not a chance.
Oh,
I will be in that one.
Session's already paid for and up. We are only making left turns tonight.
That's beautiful. Yeah, that one could be a good bit of fun here. But we still have 25 more minutes of racing left. We talked about the Wednesday show for the Sim Racers Club in the Bizzle Bowl 200 from Bristol Motor Speedway for the NASCAR Next Gen cars. Thursday, we're back to the pair of double headers. 3:30 p.m. in the East, it will be the Lotus 49s from WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca, followed by the Lotus 79s from Road America. Oh, I
believe it's Hyundai Raceway, Laguna Seca now.
Oh, is it? Well,
I think they changed sponsorship.
Oh, well, there you go. Coming up at night, it will be the U.S. Open wheel cars heading to Road America as well. Ooh, almost a little bit of contact there on the start. A little left side loving there from Watson on Ben Carswell. Great flags in the air. We are underway one more time here at Homestead. Carswell going to lead the field to turn number 1. Ciacelli already making the big dive on West Shire. Shire may lose another position here to Nagisa Yoshikawa. Ciacelli thought about trying to get past Watson. Shire going to look back inside Yoshikawa. This is really where I think it's key, Patrick, is if you know you're fast, you have to start making up ground pretty quickly.
Yeah, although this race is a good deal longer than the previous one, and if you know you're fast, you have time to kind of chase these guys down. There's no reason to go and bend a wing or worse, bend a control arm. As Carlos Ciacelli goes for one hell of a dive bomb.
You know what?
Okay.
I don't think that was all Kylo on that one. Ben Carswell really backed the corner up. James Watson had to grab the binders, and Ciacelli almost had nowhere to go.
We know how good Jim Jam is on these ovals in the open wheel cars. Or on the road courses, excuse me.
I think Ben was about to have a stroke last night at Atlanta. Driving a Lowe's number 48 car, Gen 4 car, at the old Atlanta Motor
I've never
Speedway.
heard him giggle so much.
I think my highlight of the night was when he just yelled, "I am Jimmy Johnson," over the in Sim Communications.
Oh man, that was fantastic.
Yoshikawa gets around Watson. That's the battle. He's now going to go chasing down Ben Carswell. Carter Lundy has advanced from 8th to 5th. Lundy is the car that is right behind Watson. Yeah, you can really see the difference in how these guys drive into the corner. Carswell was again on the brakes pretty early, and that allowed Lundy to gain about 6 car lengths on James Watson just because everybody else was on the brakes so hard so early to not run Ben over.
Kind of what these inverts are designed to do. You put some of the slower guys up the front, give them a chance to lead some laps, run up there, and you make the fast guys really have to fight their way up to the front and kind of deal with some unpredictable scenarios on the start. I'm not saying Ben is a bad driver. Ben is a fantastic driver. It's just some of these guys are unbelievably fast in these cars.
Yeah, Ben is, last season I believe was Division 5 in these cars for the iRacing overall championship. Kylo Ciacelli, Nagisa Yoshikawa, Carter Lundy, they were contending in Division 1 for the championship. Now, the division system is a little screwy, but it does kind of put you about where you should be, at least close to where you should be. Ben is no slouch, but man, watching like Kylo, Nagisa, and Carter battle at the front of the field, it is really intense and fun. Pick up a little bit tighter look here as Lundy going to have the dive down inside off the back straightaway. He'll get that pass completed. Now he's going to go to work to hunt down Kylo Ciacelli. The gap 1.8 seconds. Let's see what it is as they cross the start-finish line. Going to be about 1.6. Lundy making up a fair bit of time that time by. Even as Ciacelli went new fastest lap, Lundy follows him right up with one that's even faster. Tell you what, Yoshikawa going to have to deal with James Watson here potentially. Although Watson really had to grab the binders on that last corner. Everybody else pretty well single file. Let's move back here to the fight between Carswell and West Shire. Those guys only separated by 3 car lengths in the battle for the 5th position. Man, it is so neat to watch just the differences in braking styles. And I want to make it clear here, I'm not necessarily crapping on how Ben's driving this racetrack either. We've talked about it time and again. You have to back the corner up to be fast off. Maybe backing it up a little bit too much, but that's just part of driver development, is learning where slowing down to go fast is too slow to go fast.
And Ben is also a stock car guy. He is not necessarily an open wheel guy, and how you drive the 2 cars is very different. He takes a very stock car approach where you do have to back it down, and the slower you enter, the faster you can rock it off. But in these things, downforce cars with the wings, you can carry a lot more speed in, and the faster you go into the corner, the more grip you have. It's a little counterintuitive. So you can definitely slow down too much entering the corners in these things.
How about this fight for the race lead as Lundy has caught up to Ciacelli. It was about a car length and a half at the entry point to that corner. This is where the draft is really going to come into play here. You can make a lot of time just hanging out in somebody's draft.
Yeah, especially down those oval sections. Even though we're not really running the oval, we're just utilizing the straightaways from it. But they're so wide and so long that you can absolutely get a huge rundown following in the draft. And I think we've seen this story before, maybe 10, 15 minutes ago?
Yeah, about that. Same story, because it's twice as nice.
Except this race, provided Jason's math was correct, we should be seeing a pit stop. So that's going to shake things up a little bit. Someone going to take the overcut, someone going to take the undercut. What's going to happen here?
Yeah, we still have 18 minutes left in this race. Jason Owens looks like he is going to be the only car that is out of this race, currently in the 14th position. Simon Fell, Brian LaBarge, Alex Teeter all having issues at various points. As Lundy, wow, big, that's a gutsy outside move. Ciacelli going to try to fight right back, and he'll grab the position onto the oval backstretch.
Lundy's going to be right in the draft. Ciacelli goes in hard, defends the inside line going down into there. Lundy's going to get a better run into the corner. They're going to go side by side.
What a setup, but Lundy slides wide, maybe clips some grass. He did.
They don't pay you to cut the grass here.
No, they don't. I'll tell you what, though, I'm a little bit surprised Ciacelli was not able to take advantage out of that final corner, and he wasn't able to make the move by the start-finish line either. You're going to have to make that. Wow. Oh, that was touch.
And look who's catching up to them. Nagisa Yoshikawa looking to make this a 3-way fight.
I'm interested now, Patrick, because it's pretty clear you will not get a last corner pass here before the start-finish line. You're going to have to be ahead before the chicane or make the pass through that final chicane, not exiting the final corner.
I don't know. I think Ciacelli backed off a little bit because Carter definitely lost a ton of speed through there. If it was the white flag and it was a checkers or wreckers moment, Kylo definitely could have sent it a lot harder into there. Nagisa Yoshikawa with a huge run into this turn now.
I'll tell you what, let's get the focus camera here on Carter Lundy, because here's the comment from Stephen C. Thompson. That final turn rejoin has the potential to damage your right front wing. I'd be surprised if Carter didn't bang the wing off the pavement. It looks
That wing
okay.
looks straight to me.
Yeah. And at this point, these three are so close that any sort of an incident, Yoshikawa is going to have to take some pretty significant evasive action. And if anything happens, James Watson stands to benefit. He's currently running 4th. Ben Carswell in the 5th position. That's a good battle there as well between Carswell and Wes Shire. Now, the other one that I have to ask the question here, and I don't know that we have an answer per se. What are the rules on track limits here this evening? When you exit that corner onto the backstretch, they do cut beneath that white line. How long can you stay beneath the white line without incurring the wrath of the penalty man?
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't believe we have any special rules on track limits tonight. I believe it's just whatever iRacing says goes. So if they're not getting a black flag going down there, then to me that says fair game.
Trouble possibly for James Watson. May have had a spin, but still running in the 4th position. Wes Shire gaining a little bit of ground. Oh, there you go. Stephen C. Thompson saying apron full length of the backstretch. You're going to have to make a commitment then. Are you going to block that line? And we'll see, you kind of see what we're talking about here. That entire apron appears to be in play. However, you're never going to make this corner back into the infield if you run the apron the entire way down.
Yeah, but if you get blocked all the way down there, you might have to.
Then the question, then it becomes a really nasty game of chicken, because you're not going to have one car that's going to blow the corner. You're going to have two. If you get blocked all the way down there, that's 2 cars that will be down near the inside safety barrier. All of a sudden, 3rd place, maybe even 4th, looks like a pretty decent place to be.
Yeah, Nagisa's he's got 10, 11 laps now. He's just going to sit back, watch this show develop in front of him, save his car, and maybe eat some popcorn.
We are at the halfway point here in tonight's feature event. 12 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock. 25 minutes was the scheduled distance. I guess one of the things, Patrick, about that apron being in play, though, is we've seen this in the Star Mazda car. Sometimes the absolute shortest way around the racetrack is not the fastest, because you're giving up time, having to keep that wheel crank left on corner exit. You're just kind of sliding the tires and not putting a ton of traction down and building speed.
Yeah, you can definitely use it almost like a slide top.
There's
Oh,
contact!
no!
Both of them are off the racetrack. Lundy and Ciacelli make contact.
Lundy pulls off immediately. That damage must have been terminal. Ciacelli's going to try and regain 2nd spot and just sit safely here. And Yoshikawa capitalizes. Like I said, he was going to sit back and eat popcorn until these guys wrecked each other.
And now running 3rd is James Watson.
You said Watson crashed.
Well, he had a spin or something. He popped up a bunch of times. We'll definitely ask him about it. I'll tell you what, though. I think that car for Kylo Ciacelli is damaged because we're watching Jason Miller make up a lot of ground on that car.
Yeah, you can see how twitchy it is now. That is not a happy vehicle.
Let's take a look and see if we can see any damage here from the focus cameras.
I don't see anything obvious. The side skirts look fine.
Is this just a situation where the toe is maybe out a little bit? Oh, and Ciacelli, I think, is coming down pit lane. He is. Kylo Ciacelli making his way down the pit lane. So first pit stop of the race. And it will be Kylo Ciacelli hitting the blocks. The question
I don't see that car going up on the jacks for tires.
No, I don't either. Let's take a look here. No. Oh, and actually, yeah, you can see it. That front left wheel is kind of kicked out sideways.
Yeah, those front wheels are not pointed in the same direction.
No, they are not. And not the way you would ordinarily expect to see. Ben Carswell down and away, 4.5 seconds. That will promote James Watson to position number 2. Right behind Wes Shire, now in 3rd. And quite frankly, this race could be all but over. At least for the top 3, so long as they don't do anything dumb. As well, let's see. Nagisa Yoshikawa, your race leader on pit lane. 4th place in the AJ Camargo is 33.5 seconds back of this battle. I almost wonder, I don't think there's any way that we could see these two make it all the way, could we?
I don't think so.
I think it would have been a huge fuel save.
They were a lot farther back than your leaders, though. So it's possible they're working together, saving a ton of fuel, and I don't see it as likely, but it could happen.
Ben Carswell on pit lane for an extended period, as is Kylo Ciacelli. Those cars were scored 5th and 6th when they came into the pits. Now 8th and 9th on the racetrack. Carswell in 8th, Ciacelli in 9th. Here's where we would see one or both of these cars duck off, and they will. James Watson. Oh, Watson slides through the grass. Shire may be able to pass him on pit road.
Now, neither of these cars are in the invisible zone yet, so could we see contact? Nope, Wes is going to dive down first, and looks like they'll be okay.
Well, now, in theory, that could be a penalty. I believe there was a rule on the number of pit stalls you could drive through.
Only for the first season of the Shock series.
Okay.
Before we were even calling it Shock, we abandoned that. Trying to simplify the rule book to just common sense rules.
So now, as the top 3 have all been down pit lane, Nagisa Yoshikawa is your race leader by 10 seconds over James Watson and Wes Shire. This is the fight for 2nd and 3rd. 10 seconds back now is the AJ Camargo in the 4th position. And how about this one? Well, there's Zach Nurenberger coming past for 5th. On pit lane is Tommy Cook. This guy has had multiple issues here over the course of this night. Currently running in the 6th position. He's down and away, gets the service done in 4.8 seconds. Way to go there, Tommy Cook. Kylo Ciacelli finally able to get back out onto the racetrack. He is going to be 1 lap behind Simon Fell, 2 laps behind the race leaders. Let's see. I don't know that I totally agree with this one. We're going to have to find the instant replay here and really look at this incident again. But let's get the comments up here first. Stephen Thompson saying, Bug, Carter, Windshield, Kylo, Passenger, Nagisa.
I don't believe that's directing fault at anybody. I think he's just making a funny joke, and you're thinking way too deep into this one.
I could be. But let's take a look here from the overhead camera at the incident between Kylo Ciacelli and Carter Lundy. Oh, man. If anybody's to blame on that one, I'm calling Lundy.
Yeah, Lundy kind of just sent it in there.
That was a big send. Let's see. Let's try this again here. Let's back the replay up anyway. And watch it again from way overhead here. Lundy with the big send up the inside. Slides a little wide, makes contact with Ciacelli. Yeah,
God, I wish I had a telestrator so I could draw just one big arrow. Pointed straight at Ciacelli's car, like, boom, target acquired. Like a heat-seeking missile.
Yeah, that was, I will say an opportunistic send by Carter.
That was a
Lundy
white
that
flag
time.
send.
Yeah. Now, the question is, though, do you necessarily find fault in the move, other than maybe it happened too early in the race? But Kylo was doing a fantastic job of making that car wide. Not blocking, not driving dirty, but that car was very, very wide the entire first half of this race.
Yeah, I don't know if I can put fault on it. And as you saw from the line Carter was running, he was going to make the corner. It's just Kylo was occupying that same piece of real estate that Carter was sliding up into, so...
Yeah, it's the old NASCAR adage. 8 tires are better than 4 when it comes to slowing down.
Of course. If Carter was a little bit closer before he initiated the move, he definitely would have made the corner, but... Fortunately not.
Minutes are remaining here from Homestead-Miami Speedway and about 4 laps to go for Nagisa Yoshikawa, who now has an almost 13-second lead over James Watson. Wes Shire holding on to third, and I think at this point, at least for these two, we may be seeing a bit of discretion is the better part of valor. Wes Shire entered the night with a 23-point lead over James Watson. Wes already with, oh, well, no, hold on. I think we have the, I think Mr. Owens gave us the wrong points update here, or the wrong link. I'm going to blame Jason just because we can. Yeah. We're slightly confused by what I'm looking at here. Oh, no, here we go. No, we do have the right point status. Okay. So entering the night's race, Wes Shire leading James Watson by 23 points. Stephen C. Thompson, who's not running in this race, was third, 7 points back of Watson, 30 overall. Kylo Ciacelli, he's going to take a hit here in the points. He was 32 behind the leaders, and with a finish of 9th, it looks like, maybe 8th being the best he can do. This is really going to open up a gap between Wes James and the rest of the field. And it looks like if he can hold on here, James Watson will make up at least a little bit of ground on Wes in the point standings.
so I would say there's reason for Wes to go and fight for it. Just with 2 laps to go, he's got to get a move on it. I saw Barney waving a flag, though. Is this the white flag lap? Are the graphics wrong?
Yeah, I think it is, because I'm seeing 40 seconds remaining here for Nagisa Yoshikawa. It's going to be really, really tight that he gets back here before the 1 to go signal. We're down to 30 seconds left. I don't think Nagisa is going to get another lap in the books here.
We'll have to keep a close eye on what flag Barney is waving up there.
I think it's going to be really, really close, actually. We're down to 10 seconds remaining on the clock. I think that's, quite frankly, why the graphics are a little bit off. 3, 2, 1. Clock has expired, and it will be twin checkers this time by Nagisa Yoshikawa. Gets the win at Homestead.
Wes Shire's right on the gearbox of Watson.
One final shot down the front straightaway. They'll drag race to the line. At the checker, James Watson holds on for second. Wes Shire will be your third place finisher here this evening. And quite frankly, nobody else is anywhere close to him. Nagisa Yoshikawa picking up the win here for the TNT Shock Series. I'll tell you what, I will say mildly gruntled. I thought we were going to have a lot worse of a show than this. We really saw some fantastic battles out here on the track tonight.
It just goes to show you don't need a full grid of 50-something cars to put on a fantastic show. You just need a bunch of drivers that, for the most part, know what they're doing.
There he is. There's Nagisa Yoshikawa, your race winner, burning it down on the back straightaway. While he does that, let's show you our race results. The win by 15 seconds over James Watson. Wes Shire coming up about a 1/10.5 back of the second place, but he will stand on the third step of the podium here this evening. The AJ Camargo fourth, 1 minute back in fifth was Zach Nurnberger. Jason Miller, 109 back in the sixth position. And Tommy Cook, good run, man. Seventh position, finishing 1 lap behind the race leader. Simon Fell, Kylo Ciacelli, and Brian Labarge complete the top 10. Alex Teeter, Ben Carswell, Carter Lundy, and Jason Owens round out the field here this evening. If I remember correctly, is this one of the racetracks that you can kind of screw around and get to victory lane?
I am not sure. I don't believe so, and if it is, Nagisa does not know the way.
That is correct. He is already off the racetrack here. Let's take a look. Trying to see where we want to back up our replay to here. We'll go to right here and pick up our race winner. There we go. Get it all nice and slowed up here for everybody. And let's bring in our race winner, Mr. Nagisa Yoshikawa. And, man, I'll tell you what, but the outright pace was really close with Kylo and Carter. But, man, you were able to just take advantage and absolutely put this thing on cruise control.
Yeah, for sure. I felt like had a little bit of like inconsistency compared to them, I think. Like I could do a similar lap time, but they were a little bit pulling away. And obviously their battling brought me back into it. And my plan was to just wait a couple laps and try and get an undercut in the pits. But then obviously didn't need to do that. So yeah, you know, I'm not always one to get really involved in a battle like that when it's not really necessary. So it worked out pretty good this time, and then just hit my marks for the rest of the race, and it worked out good.
Interesting that you bring that point up of the time in the race of that move happening. Sometimes the quote I used was discretion is the better part of valor. How do you kind of tone yourself down and not be hyper aggressive in those moments? Because, like I said, on outright pace, you were right there with those guys when the incident happened.
Yeah, I mean, I think just thinking about it in the long term, and then yeah, obviously, like I said, my plan was to try and get an undercut on both of them because they're battling pretty hard, and then jump them in the pit stops. But yeah, at that point, like I just wanted to, even though I'm not running for the championship, still want to bring home a good result. And that early in the race, it's not really worth fighting as hard as they were.
Yeah. The other question I got to ask is, what are your thoughts on the format here tonight? First time we've had the Shock Series run a sprint race followed by a feature. Is this something you'd like to see them do more of in the future?
Yeah, honestly, I really enjoyed it. Obviously, like, it would be nice to just be off at the front and not have to worry about it, but I really enjoyed the starts were pretty fun, and especially in the first heat, I guess. Kind of like the pre-final. Yeah, the first couple laps were really fun. Got some passing in, and yeah, it's a little more enjoyable than just running away at the front and having a boring race. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. And yeah, I'd like to see him do it again for the road courses.
All right, buddy. Well, congratulations on the win here tonight. And before we let you go, make sure you do all those big sponsor plugs and thank yous.
Yeah, as always, Team Watson Racing and Team Watson Racing Setups. And then, yeah, like always, you guys for doing a great broadcast, and the league for putting on a good show, and all of the drivers for, racing well. And yeah, just thanks to everyone.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us here in the booth for a minute. And, man, I'll tell you what, if Nagisa is understated happy, I'm pretty sure this next guy is going to be fairly jacked up with a second place finish here tonight, Mr. James Watson. And I'll tell you what, the car was good, and ultimately you were able to get a lot done here as well.
Yeah, I was surprised. I wasn't expecting much. Honestly, I was so hilariously off pace in practice and qualifying. I had no hopes of having a good result. So to be second and to actually click off a couple 17s during the race, I'm shocked.
Well, I don't want to go.
You said the thing.
I don't want to go full Rick Allen here, but this one had some pretty big championship implications tonight. You were making up a little bit of ground on West, which is important. And then with some of the other guys having issues, Steven not running, Kylo having some problems, Andrew Berry not running, it's now kind of down to a two-horse race here with just a handful of weeks left in the season.
Yeah, I know that if I'm going to have any sort of chance of bringing home the championship, I knew that I had to make something happen and finish ahead of Wes. But like, I wasn't necessarily expecting that would be the case because like he was just so much faster than me in practice. So I'm like, well, this kind of eliminates me. But I don't know where I found the extra pace.
Well, it was a good time to find it. Whenever it was, it clicked in your head there, bud. And congratulations on the runner-up finish here tonight. Before we let you go, do all the big sponsor plugs and thank yous.
Yes, sir. Gotta thank you, of course, and everyone else at NRN. Gotta thank all the boys back home at Team Watson Racing Steps. Use code WATSPIN39 for 10% off at checkout. I gotta thank ZAS Designs for putting together my paint schemes, and Martin Sports 906 for all of our sim racing apparel.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us here for a minute, as we will be seeing you shortly for Fastmasters. One more interview that we got to get done here, though, and that's with Wes Shire. Wes, I talked a couple of times about discretion being the better part of valor. Was that the thought process there with not necessarily trying to kind of dive bomb James over those last couple of laps?
I had to think about dive bombing him once or twice. Really, the move I was looking to set up was off the final bit of the oval and then kind of cross him over into the final chicane. I never got the chance because he was just better onto the oval and through the infield than me. So, is what it is. Worked out well enough. Yeah, I will happily take third on that race.
I was going to say, in terms of the outright pace, it kind of seemed like it was Kylo, Carter, and then Nagisa. Those top three, possibly in any order. And then there was kind of that second group of cars. That was you, James, Brian Labarge was in that for a little bit. Ben was able to hold on for a while. This was not like the run-of-the-mill get on pace and get where you belong road course race. You guys really had to work to advance your positions.
Oh, yeah, that was quite the difficult race. I know I about lost it 3 or 4 or 5 times a lap for every lap for the entire heat and feature. Certainly had a wall contact in the feature that I really thought my day was done with. I still don't know how I didn't get damage at the end of lap 6 there, but I'll take it. Meanwhile, I net-coated some tires on in the first race and got a meatball, so who knows?
Yes, the updated damage model is updating damage models again. Well,
yes,
final
it is.
final question here for you. Now it looks like it's a 2-horse race for this championship between you and James. Does that change your approach at all, just knowing you have to stay ahead of him to win the championship, or are you still kind of in that mindset that you just don't think about points?
Yeah, no, I'm still in the. I'll look at the points at the end of the season and figure out where I finished from there.
I love it. Just run up front, do your job. Points will take care of themselves. It's that Penske perfect thing. Little things are perfect. Everything else handles itself. All right, bud. Well, congratulations on the podium finish here tonight. And before we let you go, do all those big sponsor plugs and thank yous.
Yeah, as always, got to thank you guys for the broadcast. Got to thank Jason for putting everything together. Big shout out to Homestead Coffee, keeping me awake and alert enough to only slightly find walls tonight. And yeah, business as usual around here.
Yes, business as usual. In fact, more business to attend to with Fastmasters coming up here. Thanks for checking in with us, Wes. We appreciate it. And, man, I'll tell you what, Patrick, we got the show. A race that I was kind of on was definitely a lot better than I thought it might be.
Oh, yeah, that was a freaking awesome show. We had crazy close racing. We had a bunch of contact with the leaders. This was full, like, arms out, like, get ready to brawl type racing. That's kind of my favorite kind.
Yeah, it sort of had a short track Saturday night feel to it. I want to apologize on the air as well. I already sent Kylo a message, but he was ready to pop in for an interview. And quite frankly, I just missed him with how much it takes to kind of man the controls over here. But apologize to you, Kylo. He answered me back saying, that's okay. I probably would have just started screaming anyway. I can understand the frustration in that moment. That's for sure. But with that, time for us to get the heck on out of here. A fun night of racing here. We're coming back tomorrow night, the Bizzle Bowl 200 from Bristol Motor Speedway for the Sim Speed Shop Premier Series of the Sim Racers Club. Make sure you don't want to miss that one, kicking off at 9 p.m. in the East. For Patrick Byrne and everybody here at the National Racing Network that makes these shows happen, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We will see you all tomorrow night. Have a great night, everybody.